Welcome back. Now, the second phase of the reopening of the Johannesburg City Library took place officially on Saturday. This is after the library was closed 5 years ago due to the COVID-19 lockdown. And of course, as I mentioned in the intro, it is nothing better than having this nostalgic feeling of walking into a library, picking out your book. You could even relax there or take it home, and of course, doing your citizen duty of returning it after a certain period of time. Let me welcome the Director of Libraries at the City of Johannesburg, Nobuntu Mpendulo. Nobuntu, thank you so much for joining us here on News in Focus on Hilaal TV.
Good afternoon and good afternoon to all your listeners.
Yeah. No, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on, Nobuntu. 5 years, I mean, it feels like yesterday, doesn't it? You know, when we look at what had happened with the COVID-19 pandemic and how, of course, this affected so many things. How important was this reopening of the library, given that we are at a time where literature is really at a slow pace in terms of South Africa right now?
I think for us as the City of Johannesburg, it was very important for the library to reopen all the floors. This is the second and the final phase because all the levels of the library and all the collections now will be accessible. It is very important also because we are experiencing a lot of problems with reading. And as such, as the library, we feel it is very important for the libraries to be operational and for the members of the public to come to the libraries, not only to take the books and read, but also to be guided through a number of collections and also the programs that we're offering for the community members. Remember, in March, we opened the first phase, and we had to make sure that we start off with the floors where there are a lot of users. We started with the children's library, which is on the ground floor, because we knew how the children in the inner city, had suffered during this period. And we also opened our landing section where people can take the books and, as you have mentioned, return them back. And also our very important reference collection. This actually is the engine for our library because it offers information for the students and especially the researchers. And this reference collection, maybe a number of people are not aware. With the reference collection of the library, we have items that are dating back in the 1800s. As you know, that our library was the first library was opened in 1893. And then the current building that we're in now was built from 1930 and opened on the 6th of August, 1935. So our library is a heritage site, and we were celebrating also a 90th anniversary. But we want to remind the community members that these days, libraries are not only about printed material. We also offer a range of online resources. The e-books, the famous newspaper and magazine online resource, press reader, and also newspaper archives, news bank. But we also offer a lot of easy reference, Britannica Online, Who's Who, and most importantly, EBSCO, that is used by a number of researchers. But also for those people who are looking for legal information, we've got Subnet Online. We also have LexisNexis. But if you still cannot use our digital collections, we offer training on how to use the digital resources, but at the same time, just to make sure that our community in Johannesburg have digital skills. to enable them to operate in the digital world.
Nobuntu, I want to talk about, you mentioned ebooks, and I think we've come a long way, 25 years, where the physical book used to be the only source of reading. Now, of course, you've got ebooks which assist in various ways for various people. How has the city library found a balance to make sure that whoever is coming into the library doesn't only have access to the ebooks, but they can also read? If you are a nostalgic person like myself, can go and take a physical copy of a book and actually read it. You mentioned there's over 100 years of history within this library. How does the City of Johannesburg and the library find that balance between the actual physical copy, the feel of it, and of course the ebook?
You know, when people are talking, they talk about this future of virtual libraries. Mm-hmm. But as libraries, we still believe in the hybrid library, so that we can cater for those people who want to read printed material, and also for those people who want to read online. And also remember, with the collections that we have about 3 floors underneath the ground floor that have got all the archive, like your old newspapers that are still in print, law reports, company reports. They're all kept at the basement, almost 40 kilometers of shelving. We are trying, by all means, to go into the digitization, not to eliminate people from reading the printed book, but for archival purposes. Remember, we need to preserve the knowledge that we have there. And you know, the paper sometimes that does not have a long lifespan. So digitization becomes important, but we are still buying printed books because most of our users still want the printed book, contrary to the popular belief that people read online.
Yeah. How important is the age still for printed books, for that hybrid version of actually going into a library and wanting to experience the feel of it? And I'd like to think the City of Johannesburg made that decision knowing that there are still people out there that want to go to a library in the heart of Johannesburg, spend time there, and really take the feel of a library. Because I think today's modern society has been lost in not going ahead and wanting to experience a library that maybe us, who had, of course, finished school close to 2 decades ago, had. What is your take on that, Nobuntu, the nostalgic feel of a library?
You know, for me, there is nothing that excites me more than getting into a library. Not only a library, but also in a bookshop. You know, you get in there, there's lots of collections. Sometimes you get into a library knowing very well the book that you're looking for. But when you're there, your eyes begin to wander. You go around and you pick up more books than you thought you could do. For the younger generation, we are really hoping that they can go into this library and just experience, for me, even the beauty of that library. It actually reminds us that, you know, knowledge is very, very important and information needs to be preserved. And we are going to offer some tours for people who really want to see what the library can offer. There are staff members who can take them around. But that library is not only about books and e-resources. We also have a very large art collection. And we have a room within the library, which is our makerspace for the young artists who come in and try and do some paintings, work within the library space, and then they can take their art and sell it. Because we feel a library cannot just be about your traditional sort of library, you know, in a sense. We're opening a library as a space. But more these days, a number of youth or the learners, they just come to the library to find a quiet space for reading. Because it is quiet, the library is big enough, you can actually find a corner that is very quiet. But also we have the music collection, and we have a beautiful grand piano that was actually played on Saturday during the opening.
Yes.
It's quite old. I don't know how old it is, but it's still working perfectly. So we are really saying to the people of Gauteng, come in. We will welcome you. Come and just enjoy the library that is at an international standard, because that's how we feel about our City of Joburg library.
I'm definitely going to visit it, Nobuntu, because I really do miss going into a library and just having that nostalgic feel to it. Nobuntu, absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
No.
And we're hoping that you will come and we will welcome you. Thank you.
Definitely. I intend on visiting the City of Johannesburg Library. That's Nobuntu Mpendulo. She's the Director of Libraries. It's reopened. Do pay it a visit. You will definitely enjoy it. Well, that's all we have for you here on News in Focus. If you've missed any of the interviews today, you will find it on our YouTube channel. From myself, Hospital, and the rest of the team in Johannesburg. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.